All right, so Tyrus doesn't hold back about this Bill Maher saga about Bill Maher and President Trump meeting. You know, but Bill Maher giving praises to President Trump, and a lot of people on the left was hating Bill Maher, and a lot of people on the right praising Bill Maher. But Tyrus doesn't buy it.
On to the searing monologue. So, HBO host Bill Maher had a meeting with Donald Trump.
Yep.
Which might be the most unlikely encounter since my duet with Lizzo.
If you want to see the whole video about Bill Maher, you know, talking about like the whole thing on how he met President Trump and everything. So you can, yeah, it's all over. I mean, it's even on his YouTube account. It's in there.
Yes, Bill Maher, longtime liberal, professional atheist, and a guy who smoked so much weed he makes Snoop Dogg look like Dana Perino. Did the unspeakable. He sat down with Trump, talked to him, ate with him, praised him.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama
Twice.
but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What's next? A rom-com starring Rachel Maddow and Jesse Waters?
That I want to see.
And was Trump gracious and measured?
Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye. None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
So how did the media react? As you'd expect. Here's Washington Post columnist Josh Rogan telling Maher to his face that he fell into a trap.
I think you've fallen into the trap.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at the weasel. Look at his. I mean, you can clearly see that he's a weasel. A weasel. This guy is blaming, well, kind of berating Bill Maher for meeting up with Trump. You know, basically calling him a sellout. You know, sellout. Something. I don't know. Look, listen to him.
I think I represent 99% of the internet when I say this, is that you've played the game of proximity is principle.
Oh.
Ah, yes, the old proximity is principle game.
Idiot.
That's my favorite game after Stratego and Operation.
What a moron.
Anyway, Rogan tried to follow up with some ass kissing.
I wonder if Joe Rogan knows him. I wonder if they're related.
Maher wasn't having it.
I think a lot of people out there, fans of yours, people who love you, people who are fans of you, like me, I've been fans of you.
You don't have to patronize me, dude. I don't know you. I never met you.
I'm just saying that this comes
Not
from
everybody has to like.
Oh my god! This is the first time hearing this guy. I mean, it's, you know, he's irrelevant to me. I don't know. Maybe on their own little bubble. You know, maybe he's the you know, one of their prominent liberal mouthpiece. And I mean, he I think he writes for WAPO, Washington Post, something like that. But look how this guy's a weasel.
Like it.
All I'm
That's
saying
what we said. There are people who didn't want it to happen at all. You sound like one of them. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Like, what is the alternative to not talking? Just sit at your lunch.
I guess you know. I guess they want him. They want you to punch him or something. So I'm getting physical.
Table and don't talk to anybody.
I talked to him. I've interviewed Trump.
This was not an interview.
From his perspective, you have to understand that
Maybe
people
you did,
out there
maybe.
know,
Okay.
all Americans know, that for him this was a PR stunt, and in his view, you were a
PR stunt? Isn't that what the? I mean, they both well known. Why would it be a PR stunt? You don't think Obama and Biden ever met with someone?
Prop in that PR stunt.
Okay, so it was a PR stunt. So what if it was? Haven't we gotten used to the presidency as an endless series of PR stunts?
Yeah.
Obama and Biden didn't do public relations. And here I thought Trump was a unique threat, unlike any other. Maher and Josh Rogan are proving the point that in many ways, Trump is like other presidents. Yeah. Except, I don't know any other president who would do this.
I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it. Which he did. With good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened.
So there you have it. Liberals are upset because the world is finding out that Trump is unpredictable and hilarious, but he's also presidential, or what he himself likes to describe as modern presidential. And as Maher admits, he's human. But that's the problem, isn't it? Because according to the Church of Perpetual Outrage, you must never humanize the enemy. And once you realize that almost everything you've been told about Trump is a lie, you start asking yourself questions like, what else have I been misled about? Remember, the media needs Trump to be the boogeyman, the evil, incoherent, wild-haired threat to democracy itself. Because if he's not that, if he's just a guy with a knack for plain speaking and trolling, well, then you can't scare voters with him anymore. But here's the good news. People are tired of the fear factory. Yeah. Tired of being told who they can talk to, who they can laugh at, who they can share a meal with. It's one of the reasons Trump won. And thanks to Trump for calling out media lies for several years now, people are making up their own minds. Yeah. And for a media machine that survives on hysteria, nothing is more dangerous.
That's right. Good job, Salute.
Welcome tonight's guest. She's been around more sweaty men than a sauna towel. Host of the Michelle Tapoya podcast, Michelle Tapoya. He moisturizes with WD-40. Fox News contributor Johnny Joey Jones. Michelle, there were so many great clips to play from that. And it's not because Maher is all buddy-buddy with Trump now. He said on the show he doesn't like Trump. But it's interesting. We have two different forms of liberalism here. Maher doesn't like Trump, but he's willing to talk to him. This guy, Josh Rogan, he's not willing to talk to him, and he doesn't think there's any excuse for doing so. What do you think of that?
Well, that's what you call an illiberal. You know, Maher is liberal. This dude is illiberal. Here's the thing. This guy, Rogan, said, I think I represent 99% of the internet when I say this.
I heard that.
And I'm thinking to myself, is that your world? You represent 99% of the internet? What is that?
It's probably, like I said, it's probably in their own little bubble. You know, 99% of their own little echo chamber, they call
me. Now, that's a nasty cesspool of a playground. And I play in that sandbox, so I know. Yeah. But I play in that sandbox because I can handle it and I don't mind it. Right. But it is kind of a cesspool. So if you represent 99% of that, I don't know what he meant by that.
Washington
What
Post.
Bill Maher did is he walked into something unknowable. He walked into dinner with a guy he really couldn't stand on the recommendation of others, had it set up, walked in, didn't know what he was going to get, was pleasantly surprised, and then did something else courageous. Went on his show and told his mostly liberal and some illiberal audience, this was really a good thing. I liked the guy that I met. At least he wasn't the monster I thought he was. Here's who I met. That took some courage, and for that, I applaud him. I don't agree with Maher on everything, but his willingness to have that conversation and say, what else do you want me to do? Just sit at my own table?
Yeah.
Bravo to Bill Maher for this. Really.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Joey, it is interesting. He could have done that. He could have taken the credit from people on the right and met with Trump, and then he could have gone on his show in Hollywood, and he could have bashed Trump, and they would have loved it, right? So he did kind of take the tough way out. I mean, it's difficult for him to sit there in front of that audience and say, you know what, I liked him.
I don't know. He's been doing this for a while now. I mean, he's been doing it at least since the election season of kind of challenging what is accepted by the left. I mean, I think at the end of the day, when you have a fan base and you go into what is taboo for you, which especially on the left, people are going to stick around out of curiosity. They're not going. They're going to. Well, what was that all about? What are you going to? What are you doing having lunch with Trump? Tell us about it. I think that he's.
But he did. Well, but Bill Maher was like back in 2016. Man, he was brutal when it comes to Trump. It was brutal. He was just like, it was the mouthpiece of the mainstream media. So again, I go back to the thing that he's also an opportunist. I mean, he's a classical liberal. It makes sense. It's just one of those nonsensical. He doesn't like that nonsensical things what they do on the left. But then again, like I said, he's an opportunist, and he's rightfully so, because he can read that there's a shift, there's a shift. So he's trying to capitalize on that.
His way into this. He's done it when it was most safe, because Trump has never been more palatable for anyone on the left. I mean, look at Hollywood. Look how everyone at UFC, like the list of celebrities keeps growing and growing that come up and shake his hand and want to talk to him when it's acceptable. I have more respect for those that have challenged the status quo without even really warming up to Trump on the left. I don't know if I have a list of names, but I mean, he went and had lunch with him after Mika and Joe. So it isn't like he's a revolutionary here.
Yeah, exactly. Harlan, what do you think? Is this good for America? When you started in stand-up, I don't think we were as divided. Do you notice that the audiences, it's like every club now is like a red state or a blue state, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a prime.
The guy, remember that movie Dumb and Dumber? He was the state trooper. He was the trooper that pulled him over, and that drank that urine.
Example of people making up their own minds. Every neighborhood has a Boo Radley in it, and everybody thinks that there's the weird, nutty guy at the end of the street.
Harlan Williams.
But if you just get to know them and interface with them, you realize they're not as bad as the neighborhood made them up to be. And you got to remember, before Bill Maher, here's Donald Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral, his ultimate nemesis, and he's cracking him up. There's a clip of Trump making Obama laugh.
Oh, I think you meant making Jimmy Carter up. That would have been a feat.
Jimmy was about as alive as his funeral as he was when they rolled him out for that picture. So
there was a video of Trump and Obama, just having a regular conversation. And Obama was just cracking up and laughing about something. So. But in the, it's like those days before that, Obama was like actually bashing Trump, about something that he was Hitler. That Trump was literally Hitler to Obama, and then when they got together, during that funeral. You see Obama's laughing about something. It's just.
I guess there's a chance.
So at some point you gotta go, look, this guy, he's got charisma, he's got the ability to connect with people, and let people experience it in their own time and stop letting the media form your opinion of him or anybody else.
Yeah. Tyrus, now what do you think? Maher said, liberals are not gonna like this. I know they're gonna come after me. And of course they did come after him.
I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all watched, but Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry. Good. I'm sorry. This is like someone who talked about black people his whole life and then had dinner with one and said, actually, after I had dinner with them, they're not that bad, guys. No, you don't get to do that, you coward. You went on a show and you tried to play both sides of the street.
That's right.
Why? So maybe he could do your show, because the 300,000 people that watch it, if we had those numbers here, I wouldn't be here. These dudes make me laugh. Cowards die 1,000 deaths. You said things about President Trump nonstop.
He did.
You had no reference point. That's all you proved to me. Yeah. You sit down with a man, you break bread with a man, then you come and say, well, on this night, he was okay.
Yeah.
But don't be mad at me. Splitting hairs. Man up. I don't know what this whole thing, everyone keeps acting like they need Bill Maher. the little guy who doesn't lift weights, 99% of the internet. What, MySpace? Come on, this dude represents nobody. A PR stunt for who? I'm sorry, I missed the Oval Office Rose Garden meeting where President Trump was talking about. Bill Maher was there.
Yeah,
I missed that one.
Yeah,
he's talking about it.
Yeah, this is okay. I was telling my wife about that too. Like, they're making it sound like Bill Maher. Oh, Bill Maher's gonna meet Trump, and Trump's gonna meet Bill Maher, and all that. It's like they're making it, or they're portraying it as like two prominent leaders in the opposite the opposite aisle. Is that opposite that they're going to meet? Just like how the Trump and the North Korea. Leader. It's like they're making it sound like it's like that. Bill Maher said that too. That he's nothing. He's just, he's not. He's not a leader of anything. You know what I mean? So, yeah. To his point, yeah. I'm with Tyrus there too. It's like, and I can say that Bill Maher is he's an opportunist. He's doing this so maybe he can get Trump to his show, and that would boost his ratings like big time.
The president's not talking about it. He doesn't need Bill Maher. He's got 70% of the country cheering him on. He walked into UFC. The place went crazy.
Then why did he accept dinner with him if he didn't?
Because he's like everybody else.
No, why did Trump?
Because that's who Trump is. He will break bread with anyone. He will sit with Kim Jong-un and break bread. Little punk-ass Bill Maher coming to the house and sitting in the seat. And what did Trump did? He was gracious. He treated him. Everything. He had to leave and come back and go, he wasn't any of the things I said, because you were part of the machine. You were part of the thing. He wasn't as bad as Joe and Micah was, where he's sharp as a tack, but he led the charge. He continued to say things that weren't true. He supported things without ever bothering to say, hey, you know what? I want to sit down. And when I have a problem with someone, if I had a problem with Johnny and me and him had a problem, I'd be like, we need to sit down and talk, before I would go out on social media and talk about him. Yeah. But he needs President Trump.
And I'd say, let me have a weapon
audience
first.
Yes, yeah. Well, But at this point, to coin one of the greatest, funniest phrases in all of comedy, I would ask Bill Maher to step in my office, and he would say, why? Because he's fired. There it is.
I kind of like that.
You may have changed my mind.
Wow. Before we go, quick reminder, you can come see me perform live. I'm doing.
So, I mean, you got to give credit to Bill Maher, but the same thing, just like some of those, who was a Chuck Todd. Yeah, I have a video of that too, that who's saying that not reporting Biden's illnesses was kind of a subtle. It was just so stupid. Now they are, all of a sudden they're the whistleblower. Well, they were part of the machine. They're the one that prompted up Biden. Now they're going to be like, oh yeah, we knew then. Stupid. Well, there you go. There you have it. Till next time, keep it here. Subscribes and like. Yes.